Well, Narcy, I think if you're still having an issue with the guy about your dogs barking, you should just fuck it out.
Oh God. Oh God. That is cut that out. No, no, I quit. I quit.
She's like, you know what? The dogs can stay home.
Disclaimer. Everything in this podcast is our personal opinion and for entertainment only. We are not experts and everything is alleged. Don't take us too seriously. Do your own research and enjoy the chaos.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to the absolute mess that is the Feral Creatures of Chaos podcast, broadcasting live from the depths of the feral sphere, where sanity goes to die and weirdness thrives. Lurking in the sphere with me tonight,
Hi, I'm Betty. Narcy.
Hey, it's Madge.
I'm Helen. Buckle up, hydrate, and hang on. Let's get feral.
Hi, ladies. How are we doing?
Hi, horrible.
Hello.
Horrible. Uh-oh.
It's just
Have
one of
we
those
had some
days. I'm just like
feral
keyed up.
moments?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. It's just like a whole feral fucking week for me.
Yeah.
But today I was just like, I'm at my limits right now, and like I can't pretend to give a fuck anymore. And I had a friend who reached out to me, and nothing like this is one of my biggest pet peeves is like, if I already given you the information, don't be a lazy ass piece of fucking shit and ask me to send it to you again or tell you again because you just can't simply scroll the fuck up because I've already sent you this shit. So like, don't be asking me for shit again. And like, she asked me again if I could send her something, and I'm like, I literally just sent this to you on fucking Sunday. Like you can't just scroll the fuck up. Like I was like, I can't do
Yeah.
it right now. I was like, but if you can't just go into our messages and hit my name and look at the pictures in there, I'll send it to you on Friday. But like, don't waste my fucking time. That's how I
Yeah.
am today.
It's
Not me
other
trying to figure out
people.
if it was me.
I know. Who was it?
Don't worry
What
about
it
it. No, 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 no. It was a picture of an itinerary. And I was like,
Okay.
I
Oh,
sent
Yeah.
you this
not
shit.
us.
Like, what the fuck are you asking? I just sent this to
Yeah.
you. Like, I don't have
Yeah, no.
time for that today. Like I had to take notes for this episode. It's literally on cardboard, okay? On cardboard for one of my boxes, like a crackhead. I do not have time to go look through this goddamn screenshot again of my thing. I already said, like, why are you doing this to me? You can't be bothered to scroll.
Yeah.
No, don't bother me. That's me today.
I get it. It's one of those things where they want you to do the work and they're not willing to do it.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not
Yeah.
having that.
Yeah. It's like when people ask something that you could easily Google, like
Oh, yeah.
on like a group, and you're like, just Google it.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard.
But apparently it
Mm.
is.
Yeah, apparently. Anyways,
Yeah.
Betty, Helen, you guys have anything?
Not really.
No,
I've scared them
nothing
into
feral?
submission.
I know.
I know. It's like, who?
No, I haven't really been feral today, I guess. I just been very busy, like running around. I feel like the days go by way faster when I don't work and I don't like it. I don't understand it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I have more shit to do and I'm just like, how?
Like
Why?
5 hours at work feel like 20, but 8 hours at
Mhm.
home feels like 1 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
No.
I don't know if this is considered me being feral, but we're out of school today, and we're out
Yeah.
of school tomorrow, and we're out
Mhm.
of school on Friday.
Of course, I told you, I called this
I
Lucky.
just
shit.
announced that. But I did. I said yes to babysitting today and tomorrow.
Oh,
Good,
girl.
make that money, girl. Make it.
Girl.
I'm already making it because I'm getting paid for sitting at home.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
get
but
paid
now you
snow
can make
days.
more money. That means you can buy more purses,
I've
more
already been
keychains.
looking.
I know you have.
I've been searching.
Yeah.
I only kept him part of a day today. I'm only going to keep him part of the day tomorrow. So,
How demanding is he?
oh, he's pretty easy. It was only him. It wasn't the four.
Right. Oh,
So,
4. Jesus.
Oh, there's four.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, there's four. Luckily, their school was back in. They go to private school.
Yeah. At
So I only had
school, around all the little
the
kids, I
biggest.
hear from her all day. But when she's babysitting those boys, I don't hear from her till after. And she's like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
It's because, no, it's 2 boys and 2 girls, and they're
Yeah.
chaos around me. And I'm
No,
just like
thank you. I mean, if they paid like
right in
$1,000
the way.
for 4 hours,
No,
I would do it, but not under that.
no, no.
Mm.
And then when she paid me today, she's like, I realized just now that I've been paying you the same price for 4 kids as I'm paying you for the one. And she's like, I'm so sorry. That would be rectified from now on. I'm like, oh,
Is she gonna
Oh,
rectify
so she's
it,
going
like,
to pay you
this?
more, right?
Yeah, if I have the 4, she said she
Okay,
would.
yeah. Duh.
Is she gonna back pay you?
That's what Cody said.
That'd be
Shove
nice.
it, Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just
Um,
spent some money on his own retirement gift, so maybe he's feral.
Ugh.
yeah. On his retirement gift
Yeah,
to himself.
But he's
Yeah,
he's semi-retired, so it doesn't count.
yeah.
No one
But
no one wants a semi-gift.
No.
he bought a $4,000 couch.
What?
Yeah.
And is it gonna go? Where's it gonna go? What's it gonna happen to
Is
the
it-
other couch?
Is it one of
That-
those like couches that recline and have plugs in it and
And it
beer
also turns into a
places
bathtub with a toilet.
and is also hideous?
It's actually not hideous because I hate those. I'm like, please, I can't.
Okay,
We went
yeah.
to get a small sectional. That was the
Mhm.
compromise because he's used to having a recliner. And we don't have one here because the room is shaped differently. And he wants to be plopped right in front of that television, and there's no way to do it. I know. Madge.
We all rolled our eyes.
Madge just rolled her whole body.
Yeah.
But it's actually nice. I'll send you a picture later. It's
Okay.
black leather. It was kind of like it's not really blackish. It is
Leather
not.
in the South?
It's
No.
leather, yes.
Sounds sticky.
Yeah,
And it does
exactly.
recline. Well, it's going to have a blanket over it because dogs. And it does
Yeah.
recline. And it has the speakers and the Bluetooth in it. And you
Oh
can charge
my
your phone in
gosh.
it. And there's cup holders in it and a little reading light and massagers.
I was
Oh,
gonna say it better have
perfect.
massagers in it.
The only thing it's
Yeah.
missing that everybody's complaining about because it's a Shaquille O'Neal designed couch or whatever.
Oh
and
my.
there's no heat. That's the only.
That's ridiculous. For that price, it should come with
Yeah.
heat
Yeah,
and
there
a
should be
5G
heat.
tower.
For
Might as
that
well just
price,
sit on that.
Shaq. For that price, Shaq should be in there giving you the massage.
You should be delivered. Yeah,
Right?
that's true. Rub my feet, boy.
Right?
Ah,
Sounds
I'm
like
gonna
a
need
man
pictures
cave
and
couch.
videos.
okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, we yeah, that's pretty feralish. I don't know. Yeah, but talking about like schools and stuff, right? We have interesting topic. We're going to talk about cults. Cults aren't just robes and compounds. They're control, charisma, and people slowly realizing they signed up for way more than they thought. Tonight, we're talking about cults. The obvious ones, the ones that don't look like cults at all. All right, Helen, what do you got for us?
Well, this one it falls under that doesn't look like a cult, not from the outside anyway. So, teen culture in the late 1990s and early 2000s wasn't just about pop music and mall hangouts. For hundreds of thousands of evangelical teenagers, faith came with stadium lights, screaming crowds, and a call to radical devotion. At the center of that movement was Teen Mania Ministries. Founded in 1986 by evangelist Ron Luke, Teen Mania became one of the most influential and later controversial youth ministries in modern American evangelicalism. Headquartered in Garden Valley, Texas, the organization shut down in 2015, but its legacy is still being unpacked today. While Teen Mania Ministries publicly positions itself as a youth discipleship organization, former members and observers have raised serious concerns about coercive practices, spiritual abuse, labor exploitation, particularly within its internal training program, the Honor Academy. Most of the allegations surfaced publicly between 2013 to 2015, shortly before the organization ceased its operations. Teen Mania operated through 3 major divisions. So I'll start with the one that's, I guess, the less controversial one. It was called Acquire the Fire. They often shortened it to ATF. And that was Teen Mania's public face. These were the massive arena-style youth conferences featuring high-energy worship, dramatic sermons, and emotionally intense altar calls. Messages centered on sexual purity, obedience, spiritual warfare, and total commitment to God. Thousands of teens would respond to calls to give up music, relationships, future plans, all in the name of faith. And former attendees have since described these events as emotionally overwhelming, designed to push teenagers toward life-altering decisions while in highly charged environments. Supporters called it revivals, and critics later questioned whether it crossed the line into emotional manipulation. So while less structurally controlled than the one of the other groups called the Honor Academy, we'll talk about that one last. ATF conferences faced criticism for high pressure altar calls, emotionally charged environments, encouraging teenagers to make immediate and life altering commitments. The critics argue that these methods exploited adolescents' vulnerability and heightened emotional states. And so the second little group within the ministries is called Global Expeditions. And I will tell you that there is on Prime Video, there is a series. I don't know if you've heard of Shiny Happy People.
Mhm.
There are 2 seasons. The first season was about the Duggars. The second season is about this particular, I'm not going to call it a cult, this particular group.
Okay, cool.
So you see, it's like, the people that have participated in it, and they show some crazy stuff. So the global expeditions offered short-term international mission trips for teenagers and young adults. And as I'm watching that thing, they would go through and like practice going to the airport and going through customs. So they'd have the directors there kind of like doing, they're pretending like they're customs, and the kids are coming up and basically lying and telling them why they're going through, like, oh, we work for National Geographic, or we're going through the Corps. What is that?
Well, that like
Peace Corps?
yeah, Peace
Peace
Corps.
Corps. Peace Corps. Thank you. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the core, like the center of the earth.
No,
That's why I was like,
sorry.
really? Like they're gonna go to the core? Like, all
Peace
right.
Corps just went out of my mind for a minute. I don't know why. I just keep seeing these kids up there, they're telling their little lies to their people. They're practicing on what they're going to tell the real customs people.
But why did
Because
they have to lie
actually-
about it?
Yeah.
I don't know, because they didn't want them to know that they were going to be missionaries, because they
Maybe,
told
yeah.
these kids that
Okay.
they're going to be attacked and all this stuff going over there. So you have to
Hmm.
have to keep it
Wow.
down. And
Maybe
they
it's just a
travel-
tactic to
Right,
like make
right.
them feel.
It's just another way to control
Yeah.
these kids.
Mhm.
So they participated in all these trips to dozens of countries for these evangelical focused trips. They emphasize obedience, endurance, and submission to the leadership. And the trips were often physically intense with tight schedules, strict behavioral expectations. They basically had to act a certain way, and that was it. Critics argue that these trips prioritized Teen Mania's ideology over cultural sensitivity and participant well-being, and supporters viewed them as life-changing faith experiences. Like I said, the intense physical demands, the strict expectation, and they also had limited autonomy while they were abroad. I guess these instructors, or their leaders, as they call them, were culturally insensitive, and they emphasized conversion over humanitarian aid. But Teen Mania did say that these trips were voluntary and designed to build spiritual resilience. And the last group that's in this Teen Mania camp is called the Honor Academy. As I said before, as my papers are going all over the place. So the Honor Academy was Teen Mania's internal training and internship program, and it remains the most controversial. So I did some little digging on that specifically, and it was kind of like a tutoring program, and you could do online or there in-person training and learning. So they had these speech debate camps, they had writing workshops, English prep. I don't know how much from these videos that I watched on the Shiny Happy People, I saw a lot of drama. I mean, there was some no debate or speech or anything like that, but they called it in the video or the show LARPing. spiritual LARPing,
Oh
what
God.
LARPing is, right? Where you're dressed up but they would dress
Live
up.
action
Role playing.
Yeah.
role
Role
playing.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
So
a
they're doing
LARPer, just know
spiritual
what that
LARPing.
means.
I'm not either, but they would. And somebody had mentioned that every time they would do this when they were on their mission trips. But whenever they had portrayed Jesus, he was just the blonde, best looking kid they had
Mhm.
was the Jesus character. And they had, I mean, just the stuff they wore, it was wild to watch. So some young adults straight out of high school, they moved to the Texas campus for months or years. They lived under strict rules governing their dress, their speech, relationships, which they couldn't have. If you had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you had to break up with them. They had strict rules on sleep and obedience to authority. They had long work hours because, yeah, they were working, but they were not being paid. They were paying to be there. Some of those fees, like for these camps, $820 for a 2-week session, $780 for 2-week session.
That's so
It's
cheap.
crazy. Yeah. And then they're working the call center. They have all these people they're calling to try to get donations.
Oh yeah.
And
Right.
that's crazy.
So they're paying to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were paying to work.
That's crazy.
So the former students, that was one of the things that they have alleged: excessive unpaid labor, sleep deprivation, public shaming and humiliation, isolation from family, pressures to confess sins publicly. And several former participants described the environment as cult-like, citing coercive control and spiritual abuse. Teen Mania leadership publicly denied these claims, stating the program was voluntary and biblically based. I'm just checking my notes here. We've got the unpaid labor. Yeah, exceeding standard full-time schedules while receiving little to no pay. Chronic sleep deprivation because they would have mandatory early morning activities, late night work assignments. They were exhausted. And that was normalized or spiritualized as a way to break down personal will and foster dependence on leadership, and also to get you to, God will get me through this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then several accounts of that public shaming and forced confession is where, some people were pressured to disclose personal sins or perceived failures. There were public reprimands, humiliation in group settings, emotional distress. And supporters frame these practices as accountability. Critics describe them as psychological damage. And some former interns alleged limited access to external media, news sources, and non-approved books or music. And there was one girl in the show. She got in trouble because she sang too well.
Oh.
Because that was distracting of the message.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they're telling her to dim her light is what they're telling her.
Yeah, basically. That is what they were doing. So they shut down after all these allegations. But I was looking it up after I got through watching the series. This Ron Luke guy and his wife have started a new group called Generation Next. So I looked over the website and it looks like basically the same thing.
Oh my God.
Why
is it always a Ron? Always a Ron. I don't.
But the interesting thing is, and I tried to find her in the show, but I couldn't pick her out because the stuff they did to these kids, there was a Navy SEALs type training that these kids had to go through. 90 hours outside in the mud. They were,
What?
yeah, they took
Physical.
helmets. They took their names away. They gave them a helmet with the numbers, and they were doing basically boot camp. They were running in the mud and they're yelling in their faces. They would take different groups of kids and drop them off somewhere with a giant cross and give them $5 and say, find your way back. And they had to carry this cross. And they couldn't
That's
ask any
insane.
questions. It is crazy,
Yeah.
crazy stuff. That was their thing. $5 to last a day. They would send them out and go, here, go get some people to support us. Here's $5. You've got to figure out how to eat on it. And then if you didn't meet your money quota, your donations, if you couldn't make your because you're still, not only are you working and paying them so you can work, you're still paying your fees on top of that.
Wow.
So you had to figure out how to pay your fees. If you didn't, you'd get kicked out.
Ugh.
Yeah, and I took some screenshots.
Do you know how much the fees were?
Well, no, not specifically. They popped up $8,000, but I don't know
Ugh.
that was actually the fees. But there's one girl that was in there. Her name was, I believe it was Micah. She has started a different group. Well, it's like a support group. She was kind of like the main assistant. So she just started questioning this, and she's like, I can't do this. But there's all kinds of, the 90-day or 90-hour, I'm sorry, the 90-hour thing, it was called ESOL. And it was that stood for emotionally. Sorry, I put my papers away and picking them back up. So emotionally stretching opportunity of a lifetime. That was the 90-hour Navy SEAL Hell Week.
And did you
Where
pay
they-
for that like separately than other things, or
Oh, I think that was just for
That's just-
funsies.
that
Yeah,
was
you
just
just pay for that.
everybody.
It's included.
That was
that's-
just included. That's a
It's
freebie.
included.
I know it's all inclusive cult.
It kind of breaks my heart though that there's people out there that will pay people to basically like feel accepted, because a lot of people,
Yeah.
to feel
Mhm.
like oh I belong in this group, because they kind of make you feel like, oh, you're special, like come here, like and then it's just like, then you see what it's really about, and sometimes people don't even see through that because they're just happy to be somewhere where they feel accepted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this support group, or people are commenting, this kid says that she was locked in a coffin twice during her ESOL with mice in Madagascar hissing cockroaches
Oh
and
no.
dirt on top of the
Oh
coffin. Yeah,
no.
That's like some
They
Fear
would
Factor
do-
shit.
Right.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Somebody got sick and they had ulcers, hypoglycemia, anemia, and extreme adrenal fatigue. Some people in one of these little groups, while they're doing an exercise, had lost consciousness.
Oh my God.
And somebody said they were actually served cat food.
What? So
Yeah.
when they were sick though, did they take care of them, or did they just like
No, one of
ignore
the
it?
kids was talking about how, well, he wasn't a kid now, but he was a kid then. He got appendicitis or something while he was overseas, and they took it out there and got all infected, and it was a
Oh my
mess.
god.
Somebody else said they got shot in the head with a paintball. They ate beans out of a diaper.
What the
What?
I mean, at least it
One-
wasn't shit.
It's
But,
like,
like-
teammates fell in considerable ways onto a tree spread eagle, and the facilitators laughed at him.
So
crazy.
the people that did this was very psychotic. Like
Mhm.
they just wanted to like torture people in different ways and see what they could get away with.
Yeah, and they kind of lost favor, I think, when they shifted their one of the guy who worked at the call center, he said his father wrote some music for one of these, I guess, for the ATF thing. And he wasn't himself. He started becoming real depressed. Come to find out, his father was gay. So once that happened, the Columbine shootings were happening at this time, and they got really against the gay homosexual thing. So they went out to San Francisco and had all these kids there. So that, I think, is when they started getting politically
okay.
motivated and getting into all that politics and stuff, is kind of when they started going downhill, and they were like $5 million in debt. But
What were
let's
they
start a
spending all
new
the money
group.
on?
Don't ask me.
Cars
Not the
and
kids.
yeah.
Maybe the
Cockroaches and
LARPing
coffins.
outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Paying the people to torture these kids.
Ugh. That's so horrible.
Ugh.
So as I'm watching, I'm trying to look through all the kids, but it's so chaotic because, I tried for us a special guest tonight, but I think her sister has failed
Mm-hmm.
me. But one of my
She did.
friends, she sure did. So I'm going to get after her Friday. One of my friend's sisters was actually in Texas in this group.
Oh, it was this
Oh,
one.
They said
wow.
the girl that went in was not the girl that came home.
Mhm.
So it's, yeah, and she's still, which is why I couldn't ask her because she's still kind of connected with some of these people and she still is
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
part of it, I guess.
Wild.
So yeah, her family had to go down there and get her and
Hmm.
get her out of that. So
Yeah.
At least they
She could-
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did she want out of it, or they
I
know
think
something
so
was wrong?
I think they just knew something was wrong and they went down there to get her.
Mhm.
So because if she's still friends with these people, some of these people, and
Yeah.
talking to them.
It's
Well,
wild.
hopefully we can get her
Very
on
wild.
and get her side of the story.
Yeah.
That'd
be
Insider
interesting.
scoop.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yes, I would love
nice.
that.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
next Cults 3.0, we can have a revisit
Mhm.
to this little
Yeah.
That'd be awesome
group.
All right. Well, that was disturbing and uncomfortable.
and intense. It's like, wow.
Watch Shiny Happy People season 2, and
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
really,
I
it's
will.
crazy.
Yeah.
I gotta write that down.
Madge, are you bringing us more uncomfortable, terrifying, horrible stuff?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from the
Worst-
picture behind you,
It might even be pleasurable.
it
But
feels oh.
Oh,
so yeah. So the last time we talked about the cults, I talked about my brief stint in the fruitarian cult.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was living in San Francisco in my early 20s, and during this time I was strictly dating only fruitarians, like raw vegans. Like it disgusted me to think about being with a cooked food person. So one of the guys that I dated, his name was Sergio, and he was very much typical spiritual new age guy. And he was like, "Oh, like you're so yummy," and like just talk to me like that, like really, really gross. And I remember one time we're in the botanical gardens in San Francisco, and like we saw this really beautiful bloom because it was like early spring. He's like, "Don't you find it erotic how the sap just drips from the bud?"
Wow.
And I'm thinking, what are you on, dude? Like everything is just so
Let me
sexual to
tab.
him. Like everything was just like just so sexy. And I'm like, okay. And he told me he was part of this movement that was happening in San Francisco. And it had to do with like meditating. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked into it and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm there yet because it was in the beginning of like my sexual healing and learning to release a lot of sexual trauma. But instead, I ended up meeting another very fruity guy, and we did MDMA together, and I worked through my issues that way. And he was the one that like would use Palo Santo oil as deodorant and as
Oh.
brushing his teeth, and he just like reeked of. So anytime I smell Palo Santo, I always think about Baby Bird. And so,
Bird.
yeah, that's what I called him. I've sent pictures before, so you should
Yes,
remember
I
why, yeah,
remember.
why he
Yeah.
looks like a baby bird. So anyways, and he got me further on a step to healing. And around this time, I was about to move to LA. And I heard that this meditation group was now also in LA. And I was like, well, maybe this is my time. So I look into it. I'm really intimidated because like the details are very minimal, but like they try to let you know it's like very safe space and like you can trust them, whatever. And it seemed very reputable. Like I know that Sergio was part of it. So I convinced my friend to do an intro workshop with me. And I explained to her what it is. And she's like, okay, like that sounds good. But then the day of, she canceled. And I was not going to go by myself because it's a very intense situation. And so I never got to be a part of it. And I'll go into what it is. But it since looks like it has been changed, the name of it, and the owner sold her shares, but I think she might be back. And there's also a documentary on Netflix, much like Helen's. And I'm talking about One Taste, Orgasmic Meditation. Are you guys familiar with that?
No.
No.
No? Okay,
No.
so all right, this is exciting. I'm glad I didn't steal Betty's. One Taste, which is they call it OM or OMing, which stands for Orgasmic Meditation. the creator, Nicole Daedone, she's a very typical cult leader, like narcissistic, psychological vampire, if you will. Like she knows how to like read people. And I'll get more into her later, but she developed this thing called an orgasmic meditation, which they use the pronouns of like he, she, but it could be like woman on woman, but not really man on woman. I mean, man on man, because it was only about the woman. So it relies with the man being the stroker and the woman laying down on her back with her head on a pillow and then two pillows like propping up her thighs and then butterflying her legs open, while the stroker would just put his finger on the upper left quadrant of the clitoris and
It's very
stroke it up and
specific.
down for 15 minutes.
It's very,
And that would
very
just like open you up into this like other dimension sexually, like in your power. And people would like cry, and it would talk about how you would be able to release shame, finally come to orgasm for people who've been told they would never be able to orgasm. It would open your heart, give you bliss. It would help you embrace pleasure in life and remove the fear of being seen, therefore giving you this like radiance and confidence and just this like overall attractiveness, and not be afraid to talk to other people or be more open. A lot of people that went to this were introverts. And so they would have like one taste pop-ups and like low-key events where they would like have their teachers or like their salesmen like call you in to be a part of this, like either as the stroker or, I forgot what the woman's term was, but to be there to do this. And then it became a pretty big deal where it became like a warehouse situation and people were like living there communal, and it was like, of course, something good. And they turned to like sex all the time and just like polyamory and like no one cares. We're not judging. Judgment is shame, and just like be free, like, the typical San Francisco stuff. And people was saying stuff like, oh yeah, I ohm every day, or like I'm ohming right now, or like I would love to ohm with you. I'd love to be your stroker. And while they're giving you the stroking, they're like, oh, I'm seeing the peak of your pleasure coming through, reddening your labia, or the essence of your
Oh my
smell is
God. I
filling
would
my
be like, shut
loins
the
with
fuck up.
power.
Shut the
Okay.
fuck up so I could concentrate on this orgasm.
It's like, oh, I can see you building to tumescence. Like, keep going.
Oh my God.
And apparently for the men, it gave them like an open channel and helped them like release toxic masculinity, and it encouraged them to be softer and more sensitive to like the power of the yoni and the pussy. Like one main phrase that you hear all the time is like, "What turns on your pussy? What's your pussy's deepest desire?" And stuff like this during events. Yeah, so the whole thing is that being a part of the Om community made you feel this intimacy and connection, not only to humans, but to like sex and vulnerability and like an actual like nourishing connection. Like you felt like nobody was like fake with you. Like they're very open. If you're like, wow, your ass looks incredible. I'd love to rub my dick between your cheeks. And she'd be like, I think we should go fuck. Just like stuff like that. And, like, you guys should see your faces. But so besides like, describing like the pussy to the woman as she's, in this like tumescence, they would refer to themselves as like human emotion detectors. Like they could tell if you were faking it. And if you were faking it, it had to stop. And it was only for like 15 minutes. And it was strictly just a stroking, like nothing else. Like she's basically still wearing a shirt on top while just being completely naked down below. And the guy's fully clothed. And there's like people there to make sure that it feels like safe, or you could do it in private. But it got
So
so
there's
popular.
an audience.
Oh yeah, there's people in this room. It's not just one person, but you could have
Oh.
like a special room.
I mean, I think it's better to have people in there if you're with a straight, for liability for them and so that you don't get,
Yes.
Yeah, but you
and I-
you couldn't just do this randomly. You had to be you
Right,
had to do
yeah.
like a workshop and
Mhm.
learn. What were you
And I
gonna say?
did look it up, Madge, and strokey is the term you were looking for.
Strokey.
The stroker and
and
the strokey.
strokey. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's other terms that'll come into play later.
Okay.
But it started to get so popular. So they would do this thing called the demo, which is basically where Nicole would usually be the strokey and she'd have her partner be the stroker. And she would make it into this huge, like, ritualistic show where they would like stage the room, cleanse the air, bring in a snake and rub it on your body and your neck
What?
and drum and make noise. And then Nicole would come in completely naked, head to toe. She'd like lay on a table while she got stroked for an entire hour. And you could just build the power of her orgasm. People would come over from the audience, like the venture capitalists, to like touch her body because you could feel like, and it would like make you feel.
Oh my God.
Because again, sexuality is the key to spirituality and like ascendance and being open. It's the orgasm is the entrance to that dimension. So like this is what they're selling, right?
Right.
And I mean, I highly recommend watching the documentary because you can see clips of this. But for example, to be a part of the Om community, the intro price for a workshop is $195. The
That's not too
Urban
bad.
Monk program, $2,000. The certified coach programs, this is what everyone who wants to be the stroker and like guide other people in the stroker strokey relationship, they would have to pay $16,000. Okay, to do that while working as much like Helen's, like working as the strokers while living in this warehouse, but they're like paying money to do that, but they're not really
Mm.
making any money. And the only way they can sell money is to sell more courses and, internships.
Mhm.
So that's $16,000 for the certified coach program. To have a one-on-one coaching with Nicole, which again, she's like the most radiant, charismatic, orgasmic woman you've ever met in your life, and everyone just loves to be around her and wants her approval. $36,000 for that. Okay, and then for the magic school retreats, these would vary from 15,000 to 30,000. We're going to get into the magic school. It's not what you think. Um, and then they would have annual memberships for $60,000, which would let you take any course that you wanted throughout the year. Okay. There was even a tweet from Khloe Kardashian that said, like, orgasmic meditation is the way to go. And I don't know if that's real or not, but like I saw it and I'm just like, she did this? Like I find that hard to believe. One of the things that happens, as with everything, it starts to become toxic. It starts to become all about money. So the magic school was where they would get these strokers to feel, because they would always push back on Nicole and be like, "Oh, I think the guys should also do it." But she's like, "No, because then that puts a woman in a position of service to like give them a hand job, basically, and it's not about that. It's about the
Well, the
woman's
guys
orgasm."
they
Yeah.
wanted stroking too.
Yeah, apparently the
Of
endless
course they
orgies
did.
and fucking is not enough. They wanted that. So again,
Right.
men ruin everything. Not to
Yeah.
say that it wasn't already ruined, but because it was actually doing good things. So they did this thing called the priest from the magic school. So it'd be like a total like witchcraft situation where they would, anoint in a ceremony these priests so they would have a feeling of power and they could like, help all the strokers come in and understand how like being in your sexual power made you more powerful, blah, blah, blah.
I looked it up, Google,
Yeah.
and the AI says that Khloe Kardashian was named as one of the celebrities who endorsed One Taste.
Okay.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah, several more.
Because I mean, the Nicole Daedone wrote a book called Slow Sex, and it was about basically this. I try to find it. It's no longer available, so I'm going to see if a thrift store will come through for me because I'm curious to read it. So after she does this like magic school thing, they start to really push, getting more people, selling more, expanding more, doing online classes, memberships, virtual, non-virtual. It starts to become like a huge thing. And as with anything, it starts to like rot from within. And apparently it started to get toxic where they would encourage people to like fuck others to get what they wanted, whether that's to get them to join for more money, to get them to do a demo or whatever, just like join these workshops. They're like, fuck them. If like you hated somebody that was there, you were told to just go and fuck it out and don't come back until you do.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you didn't want to, it's like, well, you got to
No.
do this stuff. And then they became the toxicity part. It became the worst was the reframing sessions because she was a very I don't know what the right word is for this, but she had a very strong view on rape and on shame and on like victimhood. She said they would call these things a killing, where someone would get in front of them and you would just like say all these like horrible things to them that that they think about themselves. Exactly. Like so toxic, it would like break people down and everyone
Yeah.
would do it. It was like a stoning of sorts. But the
Mhm.
reframing was like, oh, if like you think that a man grabbing you from behind and putting a stick inside of you without your consent is rape, then that's what he's going to do to you until you stop seeing it that way. She believed that the
Uh,
best way to deal with rape is to just get turned on and then there's nothing to rape.
what? Fuck
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. And get this,
Psycho.
her dad was a child molester that used to
What?
use her to lure in victims.
No wonder.
Uh-huh.
Damn it.
And apparently she was a stripper. She wanted to sell a shirt that at one point said, I got raped and all I got was this victim story.
No.
Fuck.
Uh-huh. And her
That-
story is
Yeah.
really inconsistent,
No.
and she was known for like using a word salad of all gurus speak from all
Mhm.
religions and cults. She'd be like, "Oh, this thing and that thing," and then eventually a bunch of people that like left because they were forced to do things they didn't want to do. There was one reframing where one of the girls in there, I guess her boyfriend was like beating her or something, and she's like, "No, that's his beast, and you're supposed to embrace his beast." You know, and when you shame him for having these desires to hit you or hurt you, you're allowing that. Your skin is craving that. You were born to
No.
this story to play out in your body. So stuff like exactly.
No.
Stuff
Yeah,
like
immediately
that.
no.
And then I think like he beat her again. And then she laughed, but I think she might have passed away. I can't remember what happened. Again, it's all on Netflix, but
Yeah.
she started doing this kind of shit. And so a lot of people went to the press about her. And it was during the Me Too movement that that was happening. And so she ended up selling her shares and then moving to Bali. But from what I saw when I quickly Googled it, apparently it's still a thing. And it's now
God.
the orgasmic or maybe the Om Institute or something like that. So they changed the name a little bit, but it's still at the core. I think they're still doing the upper left quadrant for 15 minutes.
Jesus Christ. People
I
are.
just looked her up. Her birthday is the same as mine.
Oh no.
Well, what does that
Just
tell
a
you?
few years before. Hey.
Ugh.
Yeah, so just ask yourself right now, what turns on your pussy?
None of her business.
Not
And
that
she would
she's
say,
doing, I'll tell you
That's
that.
not the real desire. Think deeper. Oh,
Ugh, gross. I can't stand her. I mean,
yeah.
I'm all for people doing what they want and like
Mhm.
everything, right? Except for hurting
Yeah.
other people. But like,
Yeah.
I think when you bring money into sex at all, it becomes dangerous, you know?
Not
Yeah, and
just
there's like
that.
way
Well,
more toxic
and
shit,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Obviously, being raped is not anybody's fault, and it's not.
Okay.
Yeah,
At
we
all.
all know that. Yeah.
Like she
So
shouldn't be saying just get turned on. Like who the fuck says
yeah,
that? Just get turned on and
Mhm.
there's nothing to rape. Like that is some sick twisted shit, bro. Somebody
Yeah.
fucked her up.
yeah,
Her dad, apparently.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, what the
Oh.
hell, man?
I'm so glad Carla flaked on me because can you imagine what I would have
Oh
got
my
myself
that
Oh
was
my
the
God,
universe
yes.
looking
Thank
out for
girl,
you.
yeah.
Girl, thank her.
Yes.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Carla.
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
The universe was looking
Wow.
out for you.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Mhm.
we got darker and darker and weirder and weirder. Betty, what do you have for us? I'm a little afraid to ask.
I'll be honest, I thought mine was bizarre as shit, but then I heard these two and I was like, this ain't nothing.
Oh God.
I should have went first
Yeah.
to ease y'all in. All right. So today I want to bring you a cult that didn't live behind barbed wire or in a remote dusty compound. This one lived on the internet. This is the story of Love Has Won and their self-proclaimed divine leader, a woman who called herself Mother God. And if that name already gives you chills, good, because this story somehow combines New Age spirituality, conspiracy culture, celebrity worship, UFO mythology, wellness gifting, and one of the most disturbing endings I've ever heard until a few minutes ago. And who am I talking about? Who was Mother God? Does anybody know?
Narcy knows.
Yeah,
You do?
I know.
You
Yeah.
know?
She was part
I
of this
thought you
cult.
were saying Narcy
No.
was Mother God.
Not quite.
Just wrap me up in Christmas lights. That's all I have to say.
She knows. Her real name was Amy Carlson, and she found Love Has Won in the late 2000s. Amy claimed she was a literal creator of the universe, a 19 billion year old divine being, the reincarnation of figures like Jesus, Cleopatra, Marilyn Monroe, and Joan of Arc, and the only being capable of leading humanity into a higher dimension. She told followers that Earth was stuck in a low third dimensional reality and that she was here to elevate humanity into the fifth dimension. Her beliefs were a cosmic mashup. Love Has One's teachings were basically a spiritual buffet of New Age mysticism, alternative medicine, internet conspiracies, and celebrity mythology all wrapped in one. She claimed she communicated with an etheric team of spiritual guides that included Robin Williams, John Lennon, and Michael Jackson, and other dead celebrities guiding humanity from the other side. And yes, Robin Williams was allegedly one of her spirit guides. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
They believed that UFO evacuations were imminent. Humanity would soon ascend. Amy could cure serious illnesses, and that Amy herself was slowly transforming out of human form. And that's where things take a turn from weird to terrifying. Because Amy began consuming massive amounts of colloidal silver. And I've heard of this because I almost started taking this because it was like on a bunch of like wellness things. Like it's like this all cure, like tonic type thing. It's a substance marketed in some wellness spaces as a cure all, but colloidal silver is toxic in large amounts. And Amy didn't take just a little. She took so much that her skin literally began turning blue and gray. Her followers didn't see poisoning. They believed her body was becoming crystalline, that she was physically transforming into a higher being, when in reality, her organs were failing. Unlike old school cults, Love Has One didn't recruit door to door. They recruited through live streams, YouTube, social media, spiritual wellness content. And what they sold was healing sessions, etheric surgeries, spiritual products, and Amy's divine messages. Members were encouraged to donate money, cut off skeptical family, dedicate their lives to the mission, and prioritize Mother God above their own health and safety. They rarely had more than about 12 to 20 core members at a time, but their online presence made them feel much bigger. And that's part of what makes this cult so scary. You don't have to be physically isolated to be controlled. Her health started declining and things became darker. She was barely eating, she was drinking heavily and constantly consuming that silver colloidal and deteriorating physically. Her followers believed this was part of her ascension. They refused medical treatment because in their eyes, God doesn't need a hospital.
Mhm.
Then in April 2021, Amy Carlson died, but the story doesn't end. After Amy died, her followers did not report it. Instead, they kept her body for weeks. When authorities finally discovered her remains in Crestone, Colorado, they found her body was mummified, wrapped in Christmas lights, covered in glitter, placed on a bed like a shrine. Her followers believed she wasn't dead, just transitioning into another cosmic form. They believed God was ascending, not decomposing in a bedroom. And the coroner later ruled that her death was likely caused from like alcohol abuse, anorexia, and chronic colloidal silver poisoning. Not ascension, not divine transformation, just neglect, delusion, and control. Even after her death, many followers insisted she was still alive, just operating on a higher plane. So, what happened to her followers? The cult didn't just disappear, it fractured. Some members were arrested initially, but most charges were later dropped. How? I don't know. And instead of walking away, several followers rebranded the belief system. New groups emerged with names like 5D Full Disclosure and Joy Reigns. These splinter groups still promote similar teachings, still speak about ascension, still reference Amy as having completed her mission, and still operate online, attracting new followers. So while Love Has One as a name collapsed, the ideology survived. Some former members live quietly now. Some moved to Florida, Colorado. Some are active on Telegram and Instagram. Some still sell spiritual services. Some still believe Amy was divine. Very few have publicly said, this was a cult, this was wrong, this harmed people. Instead, many reframed the story so they never have to confront what really happened. cults don't always look like cults. Sometimes they look like healing communities, spiritual awakenings, wellness culture, high vibration living. And when belief replaces reality, when leaders become divine, and when questioning becomes betrayal, the result isn't enlightenment, it's tragedy. And that's all I got on Love Has Won, but I did look it up. And she does have a HBO Love Has Won, the Cult of Mother God documentary too.
And I didn't think I ever heard of this chick, but I have. Once you said the colloidal silver, I was like, oh yeah, I did watch something on her. So
Yeah.
On HBO, you saw it?
yeah, I think
There's
I think
a
so, yeah.
I watched the one on HBO and I don't know if that has it, but she has a wild like childhood and upbringing too. Like she did all kinds of crazy stuff.
I'm surprised I'd never heard of her, considering I've taken colloidal silver.
Yeah. The first time I heard of colloidal silver was like back in the day when everybody was still watching Dr. Phil, I think, and he had somebody on there as an old man who turned blue
Oh, I
from
think
it.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, well, fuck this shit then.
It was taking too
Um,
much.
Ain't gonna be
Yeah.
no Smurf.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I heard that that's like supposed to be really good for you. And I almost bought it and I don't remember why I didn't, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because then I'm like silver in my body, really? I don't know.
Yeah. I've never, every time that I've taken it, I don't like it. It doesn't,
Yeah.
like I reject it. And so, but like my parents are big fans of the colloidal silver. They
Mm.
always put it in their water. I'm like, don't give me the nasty tainted water.
Does
The
it make them
silver
feel better though?
That's
Maybe
what they
because if
say.
they
I mean, they take it and they're not blue. So
well, they probably
I
take the
think
right
you take a
amount.
lot
yeah,
to
yeah.
turn
They
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
dilute it for sure. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I can taste it. But when you're sick, it's supposed to be really good for you. She's like, oh, and she makes some too. Like, I'm gonna give you some colloidal silver. I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
She makes the
Yeah.
colloidal silver.
hmm
From
That's
silver?
interesting.
No, she makes
Like-
it with like certain liquids that you mix together or
Oh.
some drops or something. I don't know, but
Oh.
she does it.
Oh.
Interesting.
hmm
Yeah. I'll pass. I just have regular water.
Same. Well, not
It's-
regular. It has to be
Well-
reverse osmosis alkaline, preferably
okay.
mineral. It's from a spring,
yeah.
but whatever.
Yeah.
I just didn't get the part where they like wrapped her up in Christmas lights and was just laying
Yeah.
on the bed. Like, what the
I
fuck?
know.
Like, that's
It's
just
so crazy.
weird.
Yeah.
Just so
It's
weird. I'm like,
wild.
just bury her. Like, what the hell?
Yes, they
I
wanted
think
the blue
I think
Christmas.
they were kind of stunned and didn't know what to do without her. And so they like were trying to preserve her and she owned everything too. So maybe that was part of it. Like they couldn't like, you
Do
know,
anything because
yeah.
she was gone.
What's
Yeah,
wrong with
like
me?
those
The
people
only
that
thing I
keep the Social
found disturbing was the
Security
fact that she said Robin Williams was her guide. That's the one
Yeah.
thing that
Michael
really made me mad.
Jackson.
Well, Michael
But
Jackson,
she
but
was
Robin
oh,
Williams because
yeah.
he's still alive. That's a conspiracy that he faked his death, which I believe. So I'm like, he's not dead. Hello.
I wish. I love
Um,
him.
well, she was also extremely abusive to people and like yelled at them, screamed at them. I don't know if they were beat or not, but
But you have to be a cult leader.
oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, of course.
Gotta keep
If
them
you're
in control.
soft, they're not going to follow you.
All right. Well, before we start diagnosing everything as a cult, let's see what the Feral Oracle wants to throw into the conversation.
I have the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. Okay, we actually had two cards come out.
Oh, that's a cult leader.
Star Ancestor,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Oh, they're both cult leaders.
Right? I was just gonna
That looks like Mother God right there.
say.
so Star Ancestor says, follow the voice of your soul, and the Lady card says, enjoy growth and reap rewards. And I did look her up. It does kind of look like her. Did she have dreadlocks at one point?
Probably.
Okay. I'm going to read a brief thing from each one. Reap what you have sown and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Grow and expand in all areas of your life. It says fertility, growth, and abundance are all imminent when the lady arrives in your life. All the seeds you have planted are coming to life, and there are plenty more rewards to come. In a material sense, this card can represent financial security and comfort. It shows that there will be more than enough to go around. So that's where I'll leave that one. And then Star Ancestor. Heed the messages coming directly from your soul. There is a deeper purpose to your human journey. Not only were you born on purpose, you were born for a purpose. You were born to be a bright light in the world, and there are supporters out there in the universe sending waves of energy to guide you at this time. Well, all
And
I
they're
heard was
not cult
enough
members.
money and you can be a cult leader.
Yeah, I heard that we were born to be cult leaders.
Yeah, all we need is a lot of money.
Literally. Yeah, and
But-
there's enough of it out there.
Wait,
Yeah.
you don't
If
need
you
the
have-
money. The people bring you the money.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
yeah,
going
exactly.
to say.
If you
Spending
have
Our
the
way will
vision, the
work for
people
you.
will come.
Yeah. Okay.
You are meant to
fine.
be a cult leader.
We won't dim your light though. We'll let you shine, baby.
Yeah.
It's the moolah.
All right, let's move into closing before anyone tries to recruit us. Okay, looking back at what you shared today, what was the first red flag you noticed in one of the cult stories?
The first.
Yeah.
You have to pay to work here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Giving money
that's
out.
a good one.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm hooked on Madges with the stroker and the strokey. I just
I
never in my life thought there'd be a cult like that. I was so like flabbergasted when she was talking. I was just like, wait, am I hearing all this right? Like,
I don't know how they find me, but they do.
That's just being in San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly.
because like the
Mm.
first part of it sounded good, like, oh, get through all that shame. And I know there's a lot of women out there that can't orgasm or whatever, so like if you felt like, oh, this might help me and help my sexuality and help me open up more and all that part sounds great. But then you're just like this stranger is stroking you and you got an audience. I don't know, like
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
For
It's-
me, it'd be
it's
the circles of having to like have Nicole like strip you bare and be like, oh, this is really your desire. You really want him to fuck you in front of everybody and then
Yeah,
making them do
that's-
it. Or
You're
telling them
telling
to
some-
fuck it out. Just fuck it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. that-
Somebody else,
Yeah, doing
somebody
it on-
else
yeah.
telling you how you feel is kind of a thing, like
Yeah.
Well, Narcy, I think if you're still having an issue with the guy about your dogs barking, you should just fuck it out.
oh God. Oh God, that is cut that out. No, that's I quit.
She's like, you know what? The dogs can stay home.
Exactly. Does anybody need 2 dogs?
What dogs? Yes.
Dogs who? I don't have any dogs. Barking? I don't even know what that is.
When did you first realize something you were part of wasn't what you thought it was?
Demands loyalty before trust. It's not community, it's control, and maybe a cult.
That was a fun little episode, although we might need an exorcism after that one. Thanks for tuning in to another chaotic dose of madness. New episodes drop every Wednesday. When Mercury's doing its thing, the moon's in our corner, and the stars finally align, you know it's time to hit play. Make sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you in the Feral Sphere.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.